God. Why does this keep happening? It just doesn't stop. And get ready for this one, because the Hawks win 8-3 over the Anaheim Ducks, who Kane were previously leading 5-0 after the first period. Where was this? I swear, 8 is the magic number. When the team just fires off offensively, they either score 4 or 8 goals. They'll either score 0 to 4 goals or 8 goals. It's no in between. There's no 6, no 7, no 5. It's 8 goals. Because this is now the third time in the last month and a half the team scored 8 goals in a game. Let's get it rolling. Let's get these goals rolling. Let's go. Let's talk about the game. So like a minute and a half into the game, DeBrincat enters the zone and drops it off for Kane. And he moves in. It's the first time you're going to be hearing Kane's name a lot tonight. Passes it over to Dylan Strome, who slaps it past Josh Gibson. And Dylan Strome, on his birthday, gets a goal. And then with about 7 minutes to go, after the Hawks continue to pressure, Kane gives it to DeBrincat, who just holds on to it. And he beats Gibson. It's 2-0. And then after the Hawks kill a penalty with about 6 minutes to go in the first, Jake McCabe, who was in the box, comes out and drops it off for Alex DeBrincat, who then finds Patrick Kane streaking in. He fires and scores to make it 3-0. This goal was it really shouldn't have gone in. This was a really soft goal let in by Josh Gibson. He had a horrible night, which is weird because Gibson's actually one of the better goaltenders in the league, at least from what I've heard. Like, seriously, Gibson just had the reflexes of a snail on this play. Literally could tell that Kane was going to shoot this puck, yet it went right under him. He didn't even get his pads down until the puck was in the net. Josh Gibson had a long night, and he was booted by the first period. With about 3 minutes to go in the first period, the Hawks were about to go on another power play, but, well, they scored because Patrick Kane just has it on a tough angle, and this goal makes no sense. He passes it perfectly to the stick of Ryan Carpenter, who then just tips it into the net. It's literally a patch that is all Patrick Kane passing it right to the stick of Ryan Carpenter, and he just had the right deflection, and it goes past Gibson, and his nightmarish night continued, and it wasn't even the end of the first period, and he'd already let up 4 goals. And to cap off this amazing first period, I thought it couldn't get better than the 4-0 start they got off to in Detroit. But it gets better because the Ducks are actually on the power play here that would have pretty much almost wind out the first period. But Taves pokes it away. And Taves gets it up for Brandon Hagel, who then just is able to streak forward with his speed. And he drops it off, and Taves trailing on a 2-on-1. A shorthanded 2-on-1. And then Taves takes the puck, shoots, and scores! Jonathan Taves is definitely showing his age, but man, can he still shoot the puck. His 5th of the season, and it's 5-0 Chicago at the end of the first period. And with that, Josh Gibson would be pulled. So in comes Stolarz. After the Hawks score 5 goals on 13 shots in the first period, they'd get their 6th goal of the game on the 14th shot of the game. And it's McCabe and Murphy who just kind of trying to open the period. It's literally we're in the first 10 seconds. They literally just kind of pass, and they get a lead pass to Brandon Hagel, and he made it look so easy. He just walked right in on Stolarz and put it in. I don't even think he really even had control of the puck. He literally just made one move, walked in, made a little move. That's all he did. He just kind of skated away from Stolarz. I don't even think he had control of the puck, and then he moves forward and just taps it into the net. He's like falling down, too. It's 6-0. The Hawks have scored 6 goals on 14 shots. They're literally almost shooting 50%. That's literally basketball type stuff. Literally shooting and scoring on 50% of your shots. get it. I don't get it. The teams look so bad so many times this season. And just every now and then they decide to pull one of these games out of their butts. I don't get it. Why does everything work? They decide to have everything work in one game and then have nothing work for the next like 3 games. They literally make a deal with the devil to score 8 goals in the game, but in return they have to lose and suck for the next 3-4 games. It's like it makes zero sense. The Ducks would then try to feel like they had a pulse by scoring 3 in a row from Silverberg, Zegras, and Adam Henrique. Yeah, he's still in the league, and he's actually got 12 goals this year. That was his 12th. Adam Henrique is actually still playing and is actually still scoring. That's impressive. Let me say this about Trevor Zegras. He is a bona fide star. He is like this young talent that is just sweeping the league by storm with just, I swear, he's like the equivalent of like the flashy wide receiver, the flashy quarterback that everyone loves in the NFL. That, you know what I'm talking about. It cycles every year or two. We get a new one that just decides to blow up, and the media just drools for this player. Zegras is like, I don't know, maybe he's going to be the start of this new revolution of all these young stars coming out with really flashy plays. Which, thinking in its perspective of America as a general when it comes to what they like in their sports, man, do they love the flashy plays in the NFL. Do they love those flashy dunks and those flashy three-pointers in basketball? They can't seem to get into the more team-oriented sports like hockey and soccer. Those are probably the 2 out of the 5 major sports in the U.S. Those are the 2 least popular. And baseball's going to starting to get into that territory with the threatened lockout, and then the fact that, it's a lot of people are saying it's a dying sport. I think it's still a pretty fantastic sport. It's really unlike anything else. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe if, we get super flashy players and flashy goals and solo plays, maybe this league might actually start to appeal to the younger generation and to the younger audience. Because let me be honest, this league deserves a lot more recognition than it does in the U.S. It really does not get any attention. And I get that, people are grown up on certain sports. That makes sense. It's just natural. It's hard for you to get into a sport you're not interested in. And this sport, I will say, is a bit fairly complicated. And you can say, oh, well, the puck's too small. Okay, you can say, oh, there's not enough scoring. It's too low scoring. A lot of this stuff, it's a lot like soccer in a way where it's not about the scoring. It's about the lack of scoring actually makes things more intense for the sport like this where, yeah, you get a lot of those moments, you know what I mean? Like those really close moments or, and frankly, every flashy plays could help the sport grow towards, a younger audience, but the more that you get, the more it could potentially compromise the teamwork aspect that has been deeply rooted in the way that this game is played for years. Don't get me wrong. Seeing Connor McDavid dangle through 4 guys to score a goal late in the game to tie the game late is super amazing, and that's just a showcase of sheer raw talent. But man, some of these plays that you can make with teamwork is that's the sport, man. It's a team sport. It's not about 1 or 2 guys. And that's what I love about this league. With a few superstars, and that's it. The Edmonton Oilers are literally the prime example of this, with 2 of the best players in the league, in Draisaitl and McDavid. And because of their lack of depth, they have failed to really do anything, even in the playoffs. Like, they're a good regular season team, but they can't win a playoff series. McDavid has won 1 playoff series in his career, and that was in 2017. The Hawks, on the other hand, are another team you could honestly look, frankly, with that perspective. Patrick Kane, big name. Marc-Andre Fleury, big name. Jonathan Toews, big name. Seth Jones, relatively big name, but a good player. And yet, because we have a lack of depth, and we're getting production from basically 3 guys, the team sucks and this team can't win. If you have a well-balanced team where all four lines can produce, and you know what, you may only have one or two, team players that the entire league knows off the top of their head. But if you have a well-balanced team that goes from the first to the fourth line, first to the third pairing, two great goaltenders. Doesn't matter how many superstars you have. You can have one, you can have five. If you have a balanced team that has production from everywhere, that's a championship team. Obviously, that's most of the time because that production varies, especially when you get into the playoffs. But in general, that's how you win championships. You need production from everyone. It's a team sport. It's not like basketball where you can get 1, 2, 3 superstar players and go win a championship or make the playoffs. It's not that easy. It's a lot more difficult, and especially with the salary cap existing in the NHL. Enough of that talk. Let's get back to the last 2 goals of this game. And the big names come up for the Blackhawks here, as with about 5 minutes to go in the second, Seth Jones is going to clear it from behind the goal line, literally in the corner, just lifts it out, and the Ducks try to settle it down. It goes over their heads. Dylan Strome is able to get enough of a stick on it to force it over to Patrick Kane, who then moves over, perfect pass, and it's a tap-in, lifted over Stolzar. It is 7-3 Hawks. Dylan Strome with his second of the game, and that's Patrick Kane's 5th point of the night. And with 10 goals in the first 2 periods, the third period actually saw little action. This is actually a rare occurrence this season. A lot of times the first and second period have been pretty lackluster, but this is I don't know. I don't really think there's been any third periods that have just had pretty much nothing going on. And that's mainly due to the fact that the Hawks have not really been in position where third periods aren't really mattering that much this year. And when they have not mattered at all, they've been on the losing end. But one final goal scored with under 3 minutes to go as Patrick Kane just finds Dylan Strome again to get him the hat trick on his birthday. Dylan Strome has his second hat trick of the season, second hat trick in an 8-goal performance from the team overall. Good for Dylan Strome. Again, I forget exactly which game I mentioned it in, but he's really started to actually produce more in the second half of the season. Strome had a really slow start to the season when he's actually starting to really perform, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The birthday boy gets goals number 13, 14, and 15 in this one. What could you ask for your birthday that is better than scoring a hat trick? Like I especially in a sports-related context, I don't know what could potentially be better. I mean, if you're a goalie, a shutout, obviously. But for someone like Dylan Strome, you can't ask for anything better in a sports context than scoring a hat trick on your birthday and leading your team to an 8-3 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. Well, Dylan Strome gets a hat trick, and the main story coming out of this one, Patrick Kane scores 6 points. He only scored 1 goal in this game, had 5 assists, just skyrocketed up the list in points. Patrick Kane was just dishing up beauties in this game. He was dishing it to Strome, to DeBrincat. And he got that perfect pass to Carpenter. Patrick Kane did it all in this one, and he was the unsung hero of this one. Patrick Kane still got it. I've said it a few times when the Hawks have a big performance like this. Can they follow it up? Because they have failed to do so all season long. Please, can this team just do something after having an offensive explosion? Something. And just win a game after doing this and just carrying that momentum and actually winning a game. Please, can you just win the next game? Like it really, in theory and concept, should not be that difficult. They're in Boston. Boston's a pretty hot team. Of course, they run into a pretty good team that's definitely in the playoff picture for the Eastern Conference right after they score 8 goals. They're going to lose this game, aren't they? Some Eastern Conference action coming your way here. Hawks travel out to Boston to play the Bruins. Then they'll fly up north of the border to play the Senators. And then fly back to the UC to play the Bruins once again. Please. Please, for the love of God, just win against Boston. Please just get a win after scoring 8 goals and ride offensive momentum into the next game. I beg of you. But before we get all pessimistic, I'd like to mention one special thing that happened today. The fact that the Detroit Red Wings, at home, mind you, in their home stadium, lost. Okay, that's, that happens. You lose at home. But they lose to a specific team. No, it's not the Canadiens. I think they've already lost twice to them this year. But they lose to the Arizona Coyotes. And not just a loss to the Arizona Coyotes. Like, you lose like the Hawks did, 6-4. It's like, that really sucks you lost to the Coyotes. But, hey, they win games. Even bad teams win games sometimes. But, man, did I think the Hawks have destroyed the Ducks? The Coyotes destroyed the Red Wings 9-2 on the road. Oh my God! 9-2 to the Coyotes. Oh, forgive me. I know it's a cheap shot. I know I have no room to talk, and it's such a cheap shot. But 9-2 to the Coyotes. Man, I thought losing 6-4 to the Coyotes was bad on the road. 9-2 at home. Oh, if the Red Wings had any sort of hope to make the playoffs this year, they can kiss that goodbye. Hey, they improved. They improved this season from the last 2 years. They had really bad seasons these last 2 years. They've improved, period. But man, that loss makes it feel like they haven't improved at all. I'll stop gloating. I think I'm going to end the video here. Hawks have the Bruins on the road and then the Senators. And then they come back home to play the Bruins. So that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Please hit that like button. 6 points from Kane and a hat trick from Strome. That deserves a like button. It also deserves a subscribe button. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on what you're feeling. Hit that subscribe button if you are so inclined to see more reactions from me. I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. Take care, everyone. I'll see you guys next time.